Many years ago, in the village of Oni, lived a young man called Wale. He was a very talented shoemaker. He produced shoes for both male and female. He was an only child to his parents. His mother had passed away when he was just 10 years old, leaving only his father to cater for him and raise him. His father, Mr. Bolaji, single-handedly raised Wale. He trained him up to the university level. But when Wale graduated, he searched for work and he did not see. As an only child, he decided to learn how to make shoe from a roadside maker. He learned perfectly and graduated from his oga and started his own shoemaking business. One day, a young lady entered his workshop to buy shoe. Because of the way Wale attended to her, with patience and calmness, the young woman promised to come back and patronize him again. When she kept to her words, she continuously visited Wale's shoemaking shop to buy more shoes, and she even bought her friends to come and patronize Wale in his business, which made Wale and the young lady's relationship to be quite strong. She started to visit frequently. She would often visit Wale. She would bring food for him. Wale, on the other hand, had gotten used to her frequent visits and he enjoyed her company very well. He started to fall in love with this young lady named Tola. Tola would visit Wale in his shoemaking shop. She would assist him in everything he's doing. She doesn't mind dirtying her clothes. She did all of this out of love she had for Wale. After several months of Wale observing Tola, he decided to ask her out. Tola agreed immediately because she's already in love and couldn't even hide it. Wale also introduced Tola to his father. His father Bolaji chatted with Tola on that particular day, discussed with her. Afterwards, he approved their relationship and he told Wale, I like her. She's calm and homely. I give you my blessings. Meanwhile, Tola was from a very rich home. She was the only girl in the family. She had two other siblings who were twins, Ayo and Ade. Their father is a very popular chief. He's a very big businessman, well known because of his businesses. He is a very generous man with a kind heart, which Tola inherited very well. Their mother, on the other hand, is the opposite of her husband. She is a very strict woman and don't take nonsense from anyone. One day, Wale decided to take things a bit further and engaged Tola. He decided to visit Tola's parents and make his intentions known. On that very evening, when he went to visit Tola, he was well welcomed by Tola's father, who asked him some questions, what he does for a living, and his background. Wale answered very well, but Tola's mother and her twin brothers doesn't seem to like Wale because he's not on their financial level and even status. Wale noticed but didn't bother because of the warm welcome from Tola's father, who afterwards gave his blessings to their union. After the evening was over, Tola see him off. Tola's mother started, Tola, why did you bring a nobody to this house to marry? He is even a common shoemaker. Are you okay at all? So, you didn't see all the rich men in our league that you choose to marry a nobody, eh? Even the twin brothers joined. Tola, you are our only sister and we won't allow you to marry this guy. He can't even take care of you as he should because he's just a shoemaker. Their father sat down there on the chair, looking at them, displaying their stupidity. He didn't even utter a single word. Tola looked at them and laughed. Is it not the three of you again? Abi, I don't know my family at all. Mama, no man is ever good in your eyes. I brought three suitors home. All of them are rich, well educated. But you see how it all ended, right? The first, a woman beater who almost blinded me because of his constant beating. The second person, a playboy who pretended to be rich just to scam me and ran away. Thank God for Papa who used his connections to find out who he was. Then lastly, the womanizer who changes women up and down. I've even caught him with three different women and he showed no remorse. So Mama, please, Wale is my peace of mind. A hardworking man. He's educated, Mama. But because of the situation of things in the country, he learned how to make shoes for both male and female. He's doing perfectly well, Mama. You don't need to bother yourself. I love Wale and he's the one for me. It's not a bad thing for a woman to be richer than the man she wants to marry. Her twin brothers looked at her. You, this girl. So, you want to disgrace our family. We are not in support of this marriage, Tola. They left. And the mother also said to her, I am not also in support. If he's not a rich man, forget it. She also left. Tola turned to her father, who smiled at her. My dear Tola, I have your back. See, Wale is a well-trained and brought-up young man. I already gave you my blessings. Don't worry yourself. But I will still make some background check on him to be double sure he's qualified to marry my only daughter. You hear? Thank you, Papa. I appreciate. Thank you so much. Months later, with Tola's father's blessings and Wale's father's blessing, they got married. It was a joyous occasion for everyone, except Tola's mother and the twin brothers who attended but never participated in anything. Few weeks after the marriage, Tola invested hugely in Wale's shoemaking business, expanded his business for him, and made it high standard. They both loved and cared for each other so much that they practically does everything together. They cook together, eat together, and do the dishes together, even clean their house together. They were living happily as a new married couple. But Tola's mother is not happy that Tola expanded Wale's business. She called her sons one night. Sit with them. Can you see how Tola is wasting your father's money? And your father is not doing or saying anything about it. Eh? Do you know that Tola expanded her husband's business? He is even more popular now. She spent so much in expanding that business for her husband. See, the two of you cannot sit here and watch a woman take over your father's businesses. And on top of that, she's spending your father's money anyhow and how she likes it. And you two will sit down here at home doing nothing. Ayo, one of the twins replied her mother, Mama, our father is rich, as in very rich. Why do we need to stress or suffer in this life? We don't need to work. We all know Tola is the favorite child. He loves her so much. She is the girl child in the family. Let her work while we enjoy. Papa pays us monthly allowance. That is more than enough. I beg, I didn't come to this life to suffer. We are fine, Mama. After all, when Papa died, we are going to inherit everything as the only sons he has. not Tola, who is just a woman and is already married. Let her be managing our businesses for us for now. Mama, please don't worry yourself. Hmm, these children, I am warning the two of you now. Be serious and know what you are doing in your father's businesses. I have a feeling that Tola and that her nobody husband had other plans. Mama, nothing will happen. Don't worry yourself, Ade said to her. 1 year later, after Tola and Wale's marriage, Tola got pregnant. Wale was so happy that soon he will become a father. He practically asked Tola not to do anything again in the house. He will wake up early, clean the house, make breakfast for Tola before she could even wake up. Wale treated her like a princess. One evening, Tola told Wale that she wants to visit her home and tell her parents and her brothers that she's pregnant. I know my father will be the happiest man on earth when I tell him about our pregnancy. Wale looked worried. See, Tola, my wife, I think it's better we keep the pregnancy a secret for now. Let us not tell anyone, please. But Wale, it is good news now. I want to share it with my father. But why didn't you want me to tell anyone about this pregnancy? I know I did not tell you how my mother died. But let me tell you this. My mother was pregnant for another baby when she passed on. She called her whole family to announce the pregnancy because after she had me, it was so difficult for my mother to conceive again. I was only 10 years old, but I remember everything that happened that particular day. My mother's sister came visiting unexpectedly after 10 years apart from each other. My mother, even though was surprised, welcomed her to our house. She brought a lot of goodies for me and my mother. She said she's not spending the night that particular day, that she just came to visit and say hello after a long time. My mother did not suspect anything, but my father was very uneasy. He called my mother and told her he's not comfortable with the visit. This visit is sudden and I don't like it. The last time your sister visited you was 10 years ago after she swore she would deal with you because of little family disputes that made her a divorcee, which you didn't even cause. Now she came to visit you all of a sudden with all this food stuff. I am not comfortable at all. Oh. Carry all these things she bought and go and throw it into the dustbin. But my mother didn't listen. She loves her sister and trusts her. She already eaten out of the cake she brought. That night, in the middle of the night, my mother started to bleed so badly. Before my father could get her to the hospital, she died with a 7-month-old baby in her tummy. It was later confirmed that it was food poisoning. When my father tested the cake, he did the testing in the hospital. They discovered that the cake was poisoned. My mother's sister was later arrested and she's serving her life imprisonment till now that two of us are still talking. So you see, your enemy can be your brother or anyone you did not expect. Please, let us be careful. You don't know who is thinking evil. We need to be very careful. Don't let your family know about this pregnancy yet. Let us keep it a secret, okay? Tola agreed and kept the pregnancy a secret until 9 months later. She called her father and told him she is expecting and can deliver anytime. Her father was so happy. She also called her mother and told her the same thing, who was not happy to hear the news. She lamented, "Why didn't you tell anybody about your pregnancy all this while?" "But Tola, why didn't you even tell me your own mother that you were pregnant all this while? It's not good to keep such things all to yourself." Tola apologized and promised to keep her updated next time. That evening, Tola gave birth to a bouncing baby boy. And that is where the problem started. 8 days later, they did the baby's naming ceremony and it was all joyous and it went well. The guests left one after the other. Later, Tola's mother presented her a gift. Immediately Tola touched that gift. She started to behave somehow, but Wale did not notice anything. The next morning, Wale was woken up with a bucket of water. Wale, why are you still sleeping by this time? Are you not supposed to have made breakfast by now? Bet the baby. Eh? Why are you so lazy? Would you stand up from there before another bucket of water jam you there? Wale was confused. When did this one start? He said to himself, looking confused. He stood up, went to the kitchen to cook food. He also cleaned the house. With all this, Wale was still confused. The kind of character Tola was displaying. He then forgot to bet the baby and left for his workshop to do his business as usual. In the evening, when he returned, the house he arranged was in total mess. He was then welcomed with a slap. Tola slapped him from nowhere. Why did you not bathe the baby before leaving this morning? Wale, I opened that store for you. You were nobody when I met you. I cleaned you up and made you what you are today. Don't dare disrespect me again, or the outcome, you will not like it. Wale shed hot tears for the first time in years. He does not know what have gotten into his wife. He called his father-in-law immediately and complained, who advised him to calm down, that he's going to talk to his daughter. That Tola is not like this. Even after that, Tola's attitude got worse. But Wale endured everything, hoping she will change. Maybe it's because of the stress from giving birth. Wale said to himself, Tola will change. She will change. 10 months later, Tola's attitude did not change. Wale became the father and mother to their baby. He would wake up on time, make breakfast for Tola to avoid wahala, bathe the baby, feed the baby. He will wash plates, wash the baby clothes before he would leave for his workshop. Sometimes, Wale would miss going to his workshop because Tola had left the baby for him and went to work. This routine continued. Tola would talk down on Wale. Remember, you are nobody when I met you. You are just a common shoemaker. I made you popular. I made high people in this society to know you. Don't make me take it back. Tola would demand and insult and call Wale all sorts of names. Sometimes, Tola would demand for tea and bread this minute, and the next minute she will request for amala and ewedu. If Wale dared to complain, she would threaten the living day out of him. This attitude worried Wale. He prayed and hoped that Tola would wake up one day and be nice, no fighting, no insult. But the reality continued to happen to him. Tola's mother visited her in the office one day and convinced her to leave her husband's house because she's not happy. Come home, my daughter, to where you are loved and cared for. Leave that man you call a husband. I told you, you will regret marrying a nobody. Tola listened to her mother without thinking twice. The next morning, she packed her bags and left Wale's house, leaving her 1-year-old baby behind. She went back to her father's house. When her father saw her, he was not pleased to see her. Why did you leave your husband's house, Tola? Tola lashed back at her father, Papa, please. Wale is not man enough to take care of me. He only care for his son, Papa. Please, I need some time to think. And don't worry, I will definitely return to my husband's house when he comes to apologize by himself. The father could not say anything. He kept quiet and was observing things. Tola and her mother became unusual close. She started to give her bad advice to abandon Wale and his son and marry one rich man who will pamper her and treat her like a baby. This man is so rich, Tola. This is the kind of man I always wish for you to marry. Tola agreed without thinking. Yes, Mama. I will see the man first though, and if I love him, I will marry him. Tola's mother was so happy that her plans to ruin Tola is working perfectly. Wale, on the other hand, did not know what to do. He doesn't know why his wife left and why she also left the baby behind. He had no clue why his beloved wife was acting strange all of a sudden. He questioned himself. He cried to God in prayers and called Tola many times, but she did not answer. Wale decided to go and seek advice from his father, who told him, "My son, what I can see here is something strange. There is something wrong somewhere. The sudden behavior of your wife and the maltreatment, the neglect, the way she talked down on you is very strange. And the most strange thing is Tola abandoning her baby too. Something is wrong somewhere, Wale, my son. You will go to your wife's house. But before you go, I want you to do something. You will have to do a 3 days midnight prayer for your life and for your wife and for your child. After the 3rd day, please take your son and go and see your wife in her father's house." Wale thanked his father and did as he instructed. He woke up in the midnight and prayed for 3 days. After the 3rd day, he dressed up and carried the baby, went to the wife's house. On getting to the house, he saw another man, a visitor, seated in the chair sipping wine. He told the housekeeper to call Tola for him. The housekeeper went inside and called Tola, who was with her mother, getting prepared to come and see the man who visited them. The house help told them that they have a visitor and it's Wale and her son. When Tola heard Wale and her son from the housekeeper's mouth, she became frightened and shocked, as if someone had slapped her hard. She rushed to the living room where Wale and her son were sitting, and also the visitor. She went straight to Wale and hugged him, which made Wale to be confused. And their 1 year and few months old baby spoke for the first time and called Tola mommy. She cried, hearing her son call her mommy for the first time. Tola's mother was looking confused. "What are you doing, Tola? This man here is here to see you. You promised me you are not interested in marrying Wale again. Remember, my child, he's nobody." Tola looked at her strangely and started to laugh. "Mama, so you have not changed?" "Wale, what are we even doing here? What is going on here? I'm confused. And our son have really grown so fast. Wale, what is going on?" Just then, Tola's mother knew that her charm has failed her. She started to confess what she did. "I am sorry. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I am the one that did it. I am the one that did it. Oh, I am the one that did it." Everybody was looking confused. They turned to her Tola asked her mother, Mama, what are you saying? I am not your mother. I am not your real mother. Your real mother is my cousin, and she died immediately she gave birth to you. I married your father afterwards and started to raise you as my own. I also got pregnant and gave birth to your brothers, Ayo and Ade. But I became so jealous when I heard your father saying he would will 70% of his entire property to you, leaving 30% for my sons to share. He called my sons useless. He said so many mean things about Ayo and Ade. He started to praise you, that you were the only child he has. You are intelligent, hardworking. That is why I planned to ruin your life. I never wanted you to marry at all. But when you got married to Wale, my husband could not stop praising you and Wale's marriage in front of me. So I prepared a sham to make you hate your husband and do whatever I say. See, I wanted to ruin your life by marrying you off to this man here. I am sorry, I was only jealous. I didn't know my jealous could get the best of me. Oh. Meanwhile, while the confession was going on, Tola's father was standing at the doorway, listening to everything she was confessing. He was very angry. So, you decided to ruin my daughter's life because I willed 70% of my property to her? You are a very wicked woman. I decided to help your life and you decided to pay me back with wickedness? Your children are not even mine, but I decided to give them the best life. Everyone was shocked. Tola was like, Papa, how? How is Ayo and Ade not my siblings? I ran a secret DNA test on Ayo and Ade when my secretary confided in me one day that your mother here is sleeping outside. And it was confirmed that Ade and Ayo was not my children. But I did not let her know because I needed an heir to my family. But when these boys were portraying some stupid and strange attitude, I decided to will just 30% of my property to them. I even tried. Moreover, some men cannot do this. Immediately they found out that these are not their children, they will send them away. But I choose to help your life. Even gave them 30% of my property. You are so ungrateful. Tola was shocked at the confession. The twins are not even her siblings. Despite that, her father gave them 30% of his property and never for once treated them bad. He even pampered them with love. Ah, Mama, you are very wicked though. Tola's father turned to her. See, this is a very tough decision to do, but I have to do it anyways. You are going to leave my house with your son. Do not worry. If it's for the money, I will settle you for good. But I want you and your sons out of my house, out of my life, and don't you ever come back again. Tola's mother pleaded, but all in vain. Even the twins, Ayo and Ade, stood speechless. They did not know what to say. So, this man is not our father, yet he treated us with so much love. Why, Mama? Why did you do such a terrible thing? Their father sent them out, never to return. Tola now had regained herself. She went back to her husband's house and continued to live happily with Wale and her son. Today, I want to say something very important. Jealousy and greediness comes in different forms. But know this, jealousy and greediness can drain your energy when you compare yourself with another person, it will lead to hatred and more jealousy. Don't let jealousy steal your happiness. Be contented and see and watch how your happiness will grow. You will also find peace in your own journey. I hope you learned something today. If you do, kindly give this video a thumbs up. Share with me in the comment section what you learned about this story. Thank you for watching. Kindly share this story to others to learn one or two things. Subscribe, like, and turn on your notification until I bring another lesson-filled story your way. Bye and God bless you.